Hi, and if you are looking for the perfect gift, then I'm going to show you how to make this split monogram family tree gift, and it's super easy. Hi, I'm Sarah, this is Extraordinary Chaos, and I'm the crafter and designer behind this channel, and I'm here to teach you the basics of how to get to know your Cricut machine and how to become your own designer. And all these things are really easy when you know how. And today we're making this family tree, so this is the perfect gift. You can make it in white paper cardstock, you can make it in glitter, but actually the more simple these are, the better. They're great to frame in box frames because they make perfect gifts. They're great as wedding gifts, engagement gifts. They're good for nurseries and children's bedrooms because you can put names in, and this tree is beautiful. So what I've done is I've used all free images. Again, this free tree is from Canva. So we're going to go into Canva, we're going to find the tree, we're going to upload it. We need to make a few adjustments because it isn't exactly how we need it. We're going to put it in Cricut Design Space, remove all the back off of it, and then we're going to make it into a split monogram. And this is not difficult. It's one of those things that looks daunting, but once you've done it once, you think, oh, that's okay, that's quite easy. Okay, so let's jump onto Cricut Design Space and let's have a go. So we're going to start in Canva, which is a really easy free program to use, and you're going to create a custom size project. So I've created a 1500 by 1500. In the sidebar, you've got lots of options, and we're going to click on elements and type in tree. Now, there are so many different styles of trees, but if you've got a little crown by it, that means it's part of the paid version, which isn't that expensive, but I use the free version. And I've come to this tree here that's got the roots on as well. Now, I'm not going to use all of that. I could, but for this one, we're not. So I'm going to download it as a JPEG. And again, this is only the free version, so it will come with a back on. And I'm going to upload it to Cricut Design Space. So now you can work through clicking on all of the white areas you can see so that you can remove the back of the file. So you've got to get in between all the leaves, all the branches, and you can just click on them and remove them. If you aren't sure, if you've missed a bit, you can go to the next stage and then go back again. You can also zoom in on that bottom and you can go in and out so that you can see any areas that you've missed, but you just want to remove all of the back. And at the moment, for this file, we're only using the top of the tree, so the bottom doesn't really matter. So I am going through and clicking it, and you could make a monogram and do this exact same method and keep the whole tree, but I just use the top of the tree for this project. And once you've got rid of all the unwanted areas, then you can click apply and continue, and that will take you through to the next window. So I think we're almost okay here. And now we've got three options. So multiple layers, single or flat graphic. We are going for single layer. So you can see I haven't removed all of the bottom of the tree, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a square and we're going to just drag that over the bottom of the tree. And we're going to slice it out. So just drag it over the whole bottom, over there like that. We want to keep a bit of the bottom of the tree. And then right click, select both layers and slice. And we have removed the bottom of the tree. So now we could again leave it like that. It's totally down to what you want to do. But I'm going to remove some of the side branches on either side. So I want to keep the bottom of the tree. But I just want to, there you go. So I'm just going to slice that bit out there, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. I just had a vision in my mind of what I wanted the tree to look like, and now I'm looking over this project again. You could have done it with the whole tree, with half the tree, but yeah, it's whatever you prefer. And once you've sliced off that corner there, then you can go back and look at it and think, right, is there any areas I need to remove? So we'll just slice this out. And with well done slicing, you can just do anything. It's amazing how you can adapt projects. So I think on the edge of this tree, you've just got those two bits sticking up there, and I think they'll just look wrong when they're cut out. So I'll slice those and get rid of those. And there you go, we can delete that and do the same on the other corner. And then we're almost ready to start creating the split monogram and putting our name in. Now there's several different ways of doing this, but we are going to just grab a square. We're going to unlock it first and just drag it a bit fatter. So you can change the shape of anything by doing that, just unlocking it. And then I'm going to grab a square or an oblong and I've dragged it long, so I've unlocked it and dragged it long, and then I'm going to drag it thin because I only want to, because of there isn't a lot of foliage on this tree, so I don't want to just cut a lump out. I'm going to cut it and split it. So I'm going to try and do it in a logical place. I'm going to slice it and get rid of that. So now the tree has got a top or a bottom. What we're going to do now is we're going to slice the bottom off. Now another way of doing this is duplicating it and removing the contour, the top off one, the bottom off the other. That is another way, but I've just grabbed a rectangle, I'm dragging it to my middle, and I put that line so that I had a guide of where I wanted it. And then now I'm slicing that out. So I've put the layer over, right click and slice. And what that's done is it's separated my layers. Now, if you're going to make these to sell, or it's something you're going to make multiple times, save this now as your tree template, because this is going to be something that you could use again. Unlock the top, and you just want to just drag it a little bit bigger, just because when you pull that bottom layer down, it alters the shape slightly. So you just drag it ever so slightly at the top, and then I'm popping another rectangle back in. So again, a square that's unlocked. I'm going to position it, and then I'm going to drag it thin, and that's going to be my top guideline, and that's holding the whole top of the file together so there's no loose bits. I'm going to duplicate it and do the same at the bottom. So that then you've got a guide to put your word. So I'm going to do this in 2 separate layers. I'm going to right click and weld those together. And then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Right click and weld. And there you've got 2 separate layers that, again, save these because you can use them again and again. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add our name. But first of all, I've seen a little bit at the bottom that I'm just not happy with. So I've grabbed a circle, and if you look at the bottom of the tree, it just looks like it's been cut. So I'm going to pop that circle in there. Turn it a different colour just so I can see it. I'm just going to drag it, unlock it and drag it, just so it's a bit thinner, and then I'm going to slice it out. And there you go, I've sliced that out, and now that looks like it should. It's just the little details sometimes, I think, that just finish off a project. So now I want to add text, and it's really important to remember that when you add text in a project like this, it needs to be in capitals because it's got to fit the top and the bottom, so it has to be equal. Now I'm going to change it. I'm going to go into my system fonts as always, and I'm going to use American Typewriter because that's a font that works really, really well with these projects because it's got like a quite square top and bottom. Now I could have put the Christie family in like my other project, which would have also worked really, really well. And I'm just going to unlock it slightly, and I'm going to create a little offset on this, I think, just because it feels a little bit thin. And just remember, with fonts, you can always add an offset just to make it ever so slightly chunkier. So I'm going to just reduce that to 0.032, and that's better, just so that it cuts well. You don't want it to cut and drag after all this work. And once you're happy, we're nearly ready to weld, but we just want to make sure it's aligned. So I'm going to select all. I'm just going to turn my guidelines on in case I need them, and I'm going to go to the align bar, and you want to align it center horizontally, and that's just taking it over a slight bit, so it was only tiny, but that will have made a difference visually. And now I've welded it together and it's ready to cut. So we can set our settings and click go. And here we are cutting out. So I've cut it out on white cardstock. This is on a green cutting mat, and I've done it on heavy cardstock settings and more because I really feel that using a green mat, because it's super sticky, I just find I never have problems with intricate cuts because it's so well stuck to the mat. It makes such a big difference. Here we are, and it's all cut out. So I'm going to reverse weed it, and this mat isn't as sticky as it used to be, but in fact I'm going to just move it off of there because once that starts to come away, it will stick to the card. So don't bend it in half, just tease it off gently. The newer the mat, the more problem you're going to have. Get that bit off. Worry about that after. And you might just have to go through and make sure that you've not got any bits. And how gorgeous is that? So Obviously, if you've got access, you can use the trees that are there available, or if you've got Canva access, then you can do that. But this is a free file, so, and it looks brilliant. What I would do now with this is I would mount it and put it in a box frame. And there you go. How lovely does that look? And have you got a tree? How did you find that? It's actually really easy, isn't it? And I love how the trees turned out. So as I say, you can use this for any theme, any name, and it's just about finding the right tree, cutting it in the right place and popping your name in. And again, think about your font. I've used capitals because then it's all in line. You could put messages in. It really is very easy when you know how. Any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Let me know how you got on. Share with me what you made. Thank you so much for crafting along with me. I will see you next time, and happy crafting.